It's well known at this point that Living End has almost zero game against Mill. You can make an argument about game 1, but game 2 and 3 is literally so favored for Mill because the amount of combo and graveyard hate that we bring in. But in this game, you're going to see it get a little tricky because of the introduction of Rhinos, where the player actually wants to play the Rhinos plan and the Reanimator plan. So watch me maneuver this matchup and, well, enjoy it in partnership with the MTG Ambassador program for all of your Lost Caverns of Ixalan needs. Hit the link down below to find that there and enjoy the games. Winning the die roll? Come on now. Can't always be that easy. This sounds good. I'll keep it. I miss Surgical in the main. Gives me a little piece of interaction. Just feels weird. Card disadvantage that it provides, but seems pretty good. We can start off with a Polluted Delta into a Watery Grave. Hope our opponent fetches into Oblivion or something. They don't maul. They just took some time making their decision. We're going to pass right through. D-Slap. Coming through with the games. Let's go D-Slap. I always wondered, like, what's a better way to present the Moto UI? What is a better way? This whole thing looks kind of boring. Okay. What you got for me, opponent? Stomping Ground, Shocked In. Watery Grave, tapped. Untap. Draw. Double Surgical should be interesting at some point. Let's see if we can't get an Archive Trap going now. And then rip their deck apart. Hopefully they don't. Oh, okay. Yeah. Living End. Okay, got you. Living End is fine. Hopefully they search. Oh yeah, they're going to do some cycling right now. Yeah, okay. So they're going to look for Steam Vents. I'm going to do this. Oh, they're going to give it to me. So I'm going to go to their turn. I'm going to take the Violent Outburst and the Shardless Agent. And then this deck is done. So we're going to go to their turn here. We're going to Surgical the Shardless Agent. I'm going to take the first one with life. Just in case, take the Shardless Agent. Obviously do that outside of our turn. Love that. So outside of that, what are they? They're just hard casting spells. They don't have any forces in hand. They have a Steam Vents and a Hinterland, so they could have comboed. That's fine, though. I'm wondering if it's worth taking this out of their graveyard. Doesn't really matter. They don't have a way to like suspend Living End by the looks of it. They don't have a way to recur. I'm just confirming all the keywords here. Yeah, okay. So leave that in there. I should have done this on their draw, but I'll let them go to their draw. And then Surgical the Violent Outburst. So now you're picked apart. You can't combo. Violent Outbursts are gone. Your Shardless Agents are gone. This is the power of Mainboard Surgical Extraction. Simply the power of Mainboard Surgical. Simply the power. That's what it is. That's the good stuff. Surgical resolves. And then we win this game. Take that out of your hand. Take that out. And now they gotta play a long game. They have one basic in their deck. I was gonna say, how much value will the Field of Ruin get? But that's fine. You do you. You do you, boo. We're gonna Field of Ruin the bejesus out of that. I'm gonna definitely take. I mean, they have Hinterland Harbor, right? So it's not trying to think, like, is there value in taking the green? There is, I think, for the Generous End and stuff that they can cast later on. It's just I'm not really going to stop them on double blue. So got that. I'm going to hold this up. Now they're playing a long game with me, which is great. This is just fair Magic, and I should be able to beat this. As long as they just relatively do not have counter spells, which is a big ask, honestly. It can be a big ask. Okay, yeah, they're going to keep themselves in 19. They get rid of the Architects. They don't want to go to 20 just yet. They understand that I have the Visions of Beyond. So play the Hinterland Harbor. Now they can hard cast Force. Yeah, now they can hard cast Force. I don't need to do anything, honestly. I could just counter the next spell they play and play Visions. If they have a land, I could just counter the next spell they play. I'm not in a rush, yeah. I'm happy to just Visions here. If they have double Force, then sure. Okay. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that second Field of Ruin is going to have so much value. So we just counter the spell they play here based on if they have a land or not. And then we're kind of off to the races. Yeah, we're going to keep both of our Fractured Sanities. If they have to commit Force Negations to them, I'm more than happy to have them, let them do that, because that's less threats in their hand. Especially considering Curator is honestly just a 4/4. It's not that bad. Definitely want to take the red source out here. We want to choke them on like a certain color of mana, right? Do that. I mean, I don't know why they're still playing this out. I gotta give them, you know, this is truly just a giant waste of their time. I have to draw like literally just land in a row for them to get anywhere. It's not like I'm going to cast Fractured anyway, and I don't really want to cycle Fractured, so... Okay. Mill. Yeah, I just... I was like, there's no way you're letting this through. Anyway. Force of Vigor. Definitely coming through. Grab the Crypt Incursion. Spell Pierce. Bring these in. Take out... take out the Visions. Brought in the whole 9 yards here. Fatal Push, shave on those. Actually, maybe shave on Fatal Push completely, honestly, and probably just bring in Jace. Tasha's isn't. I don't know. Am I gonna cast 3 mana, like pay 3 mana to exile like 3 cards? Whatever. I could play Bridge. I just don't think that's the angle I want in a deck that's going to be playing. Yeah, in a deck that's going to be playing Foundation Breakers or Force of Vigors. Leyline of Sanctity is a thing, but how much am I supposed to play around that? Usually, the Living End decks will only play, especially. Having played the deck once before, so in my statistically accurate opinion, it won't come up. If it does, so be it. They won the die roll on that side. They brought in 61 cards. I rate the hustle. I think I can do better. I think I can at least mulligan to like 1 piece of hay. Oh, yep, that works. It's an awkward one. But I'll try it. We're on the draw, so we have opportunities. It's an awkward one. Okay, shock that bad boy in. All right, we're going to go snow-covered island. Please draw land? We're at 22 lands. Please draw land. Surgical. We can't mill them. It's like... it's Sometimes the good, sometimes you know, whatever the word is. You don't have 1 mana interaction. Get out of here. Get out of here. You know, force that? Yeah, exactly. You don't want to cycle in response. Get out of here. Just so that I can ETB and exile the card you're looking for? Come on. Alright. Target creature gains flying? That's spicy. When I was playing Living End, I don't think I had access to that. Yeah. So as long as they don't draw Force of Vigor, then they can't go off. I can draw a black source. Come on. Then we're off to the races. Then we're off to the races with the Extirpate. With the Extirpate. No! Please, 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 please. Oh, we kept a one-lander opponent. We kept a one-lander. So much interaction in our hands. So much. But I got the Spell Pierce. I got the Spell Pierce and I got the Soul Guard Lantern, so that's the best I can hope for. I'm forcing you to have Force of Vigor and Force of Negation for everything that you want to do. I'm forcing you to have both. All right, opponent, what do you got for me? What do you got for me? You got the Breeding Pool out. I see you play the Breeding Pool. Come on. Go for the combo. Okay. Want you to cast it, yes. 16 cards. Put it on the stack. Put the Living End on the stack. Come on, this is how this works, folks. Put the Living End on the stack. I don't want a May. Put the Living End on the stack. Make your choice. Are you just going to play a 2-2? Or are you going to put the Living End on the stack? Oh! Crazy. Okay. All right. Bet. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Surgical. Okay, you still have Living Ends. Okay. Do you have an Endurance? Does it really matter? I think I still want to take this. Okay, so you have another way to go off next turn. You have Generous and... So you actually don't have a way to deal with the resolved Soul Guide Lantern. Opponent, no, that's not how you play this game. No. Do not get into combat with me right now. You do not have a way to deal with the resolved Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So I have to hold the Soul Guide Lantern up. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Yeah, play the second Soul Guide Lantern so I can at least get it out and I can start cycling things with it. We're gonna take out, I mean, if something were to resolve, like the Generous End is the most problematic thing because it's like the biggest one. So you take out the Generous End. Okay, so that's going to swing at me for 3 next turn because they're going to Violent Outburst. So the Rhinos plan. So their hand is this plus a mystery card right now. Sure. Okay, you gonna Violent Outburst? Oh no, it wouldn't be 3 because the Violent, like the Living End would resolve before the damage even hits me. That's fine. I'm gonna hit you with the... I'm not gonna hit you with the Soul Guide Lantern because I need the drown. I could have just tapped it, though. They have a Fairy Macabre, which is interesting tech versus surgical. I rate it. But the one of Extirpate that I have is coming through. If I didn't have this Extirpate, that Fairy Macabre would actually be like pretty high, like high tier tech. Pretty high tier tech. I rate it. So you got the land to play the Curator. Which is fine. We're gonna Fractured Sanity. Question is, do I bother? Well, Soul Guide Lantern is going to be largely useless anyway. But then they could just cycle what they have in their hand and recast it, so I'm not going to bother just yet. It's a weird situation. Like, they could just interact in response. That's fine. They'll tap out. They'll play Steam Vents and play Curator. They'll play the attack plan. It could very much work here. Since they have like a split plan going now with Rhinos, it becomes a little tougher, but I rate the hustle on playing the long game here. Yeah, play the Curator. Yep. Okay, take 2, go down to 13. I'd have to kill... I don't have a second black source. I was going to say I have to kill... Because I use my Polluted Delta not to... Thing here. Have to kill the Curator now. They don't have a living end in here either, which is kind of annoying, but oh well. Black source eventually. Yeah, force negation. Force is annoying here, but it's what it is. You can't like hard cast fairy. You can cast like other things if you get there. At least everything is relatively high. It's only one Striped Riverwinder though. Or not, sorry, Striped Riverwinder. Curator of Mysteries. There's only one Curator of Mysteries, though. Curator is oh no, there's 2 in the graveyard. It's probably their best draw outside of Shardless, because they can actually cast it. That's not fun. We're gonna sack one of these to draw. That's not good. Okay. It's getting a little tough now. Getting a little precarious right now. Out of all the forces in their deck, I keep looking at their graveyard because I'm trying to keep counts of everything, but only one force gone. I'm at 11. My time on this battlefield is a little numbered right now. Untap. Hedron Crab, come on. If I can just find the living end here, then that like eliminates the use of the fairy, and then allows me to also just hit Soul Guide Lantern and keep going. Because they could just draw a Shardless. There's only 2 Shardless in yard. There's 1 on the battlefield. If there was a 3rd Shardless in yard, I would definitely hit Violent Outburst. Knowing that they don't have something like Endurance to reshuffle their yard for a long game, which is a very niche scenario. Like, Living End really wouldn't be playing Endurance, but it's a thing. It's a thing. If you expect yourself to be grinding out constantly, then it's a thing. Okay, I'm gonna pass right through then. I see the Living End, so they see it as well. I know that they have a fairy. I could get them to activate it. Yeah, so I want perfect information here. I want to go to your draw. They're gonna let me. I'm gonna extirpate. Hit the living end. You should not be able to activate this. Yeah. So the exactly the card I need to counter the fairy, which is great. Hit the other living end. So the fairies are useless. The Viling Outburst gives them just an additional angle of attack, like additional damage. Like instead of taking 6, I could take 8. Yeah, we're gonna just redraw with this. It's close. It's close. This could very well be a force to game 3. Oh, that's nice. That on the curator is actually huge. That on the curator is actually huge. And this only scries. Yeah, that on the curator is actually huge. No blocks. No violent. So I have nothing more to cascade into. That's all I want to confirm. So what's nice here is right after the fairy and actually after the Oliphant, this is their deck. Yeah, this is their whole deck. So now we destroy this, right? They should have cycled for the sake of scrying, but this is their whole deck now. They didn't actually play a land either. It'd probably be in their best interest to fetch. Or maybe they were fearing like an archive trap. But now their clock is much slower, which is nice. Now their clock is much slower, and I'm probably going to get a block out of it too. So I have a couple of turns to get something going. Really, really opportune draws here. Spell Pierce is not what I'm looking for right now. Genuinely not what I'm looking for. But hey, if they draw a Violent Outburst, I guess. They got to start playing lands because they definitely, it's in their interest to start casting big spells, right? I'm definitely not blocking. If they cast a Violent Outburst, I can Spell Pierce it. No problem. Not much else I'm hitting though, so that's the scary thing. If they draw Curator, this is actually pretty nice with Force. Unless I like cast like an Archive Trap or something. Play Scalding Tarn, yep. Oh, you fetch now, opponent. Come on. Come on, because what if I draw it this turn? Yep. I think I have to here. Like this makes the clock like smaller, but I think I have to like mill them because if I get them down to 3 here, then like a top deck Fractured Sanity actually wins. And like, well, they're gonna draw and then a top deck Archive Trap wins too. So I think this is like this 100% is worth it, and I think this is the way I have to play it. I don't think giving myself an extra turn is really that necessary right now, but it could be. Like I could give myself the ability to just draw, honestly. That's a thing too. They found themselves an island. So they took the island out of their deck. At 12. Go to combat. Maybe that was like a missed call. Like knowing that they don't really have a way to interact with the crab, I could have just held on to that as long as possible. The 1 turn is more valuable than me thinning my deck percentage-wise. It's definitely more valuable to me. So I could very much just draw dead here. And then I'm forced to block. Okay, they play the forest. Fairy, 2 mystery cards. If they play out a creature here, Big yikes. Big yikes. Okay, I got one turn then. Didn't really end up mattering then. Why is this water warm? Oh, I didn't get cold water out of the tap. All right, come on, top decks, top decks, top decks. This thing has trample. Oh, top decks. I'm actually gonna bring in bridges. I'm gonna bring in bridges. Yeah, I'm gonna bring in bridges over these. If they don't have a way to answer or resolve, I'm gonna bring in bridges. I'm happy to go empty-handed. Bridges with Spell Pierce, though. I mean, whatever. I'm gonna bring in bridges. Yeah. I think that's just the correct way to play this. It's a close match. This is a close match right here. Yeah, especially with the Rhinos plan. Bridges. Don't think I want Jace. If we're gonna grind, I want bridges. I could play the third bridge, but it's a little like this is a little like non-traditional. I will say that this is a little non-traditional, in the sense that you usually don't bring in bridge against Living End, but if you have perfect knowledge of their deck, well, I say perfect, but they could just bring in some random snipe piece out of their sideboard that they didn't have for game 2, which would be crazy. It would be crazy. I think having the Soul Guide and the double archive trap is fine here. They mulligan once. I'm okay with this. So they probably have a force, in which case I'm gonna force the issue. No force negation. No force negation off the rip. They're gonna search at some point. So a resolved Soul Guide Lantern they can't do much about. And I can take out large swaths of their deck here. Ooh, you're not gonna fetch now, opponent? Come on now. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Wonder if they just F6 through the Soul Guide Lantern. Like that just and the surgical. Play the Hedron Crab. Shock in the Watery Grave with the intent of using that. Or ooh. Mystical Dispute. I don't like that. Don't like Mystical Dispute, not gonna lie. But I also don't like Living End. I also don't like Living End. So I think taking out the Living End is better. That way my Soul Guide Lantern can cycle. I think that's probably just better. Now, looking at their deck, 2 Crashing Footfalls, nothing changed. They don't have a way to deal with this Resolve Soul Guide Lantern. They have a Violent Outburst in hand, Shardless Agent. So we just leave that in there. They don't have a way to... I always want to double check. Like, I feel like sometimes I miss things. But they don't have a way to recur this, which is important. So I can leave that in there. It doesn't really matter, actually. I'm not playing Jace or anything, so I'm just gonna cover my bases and take that out. Yeah, and my archive traps here are free, so hopefully I can get both the Crashing Footfalls. That would be a great thing here. Ketria Triumph. Some people may ask, what is the value in, like, that was kind of a Brent's decision where you could just Soul Guide Lantern and then hold up your Extirpate for the Rhinos. Like, what if you let the archive traps through, you find the Living End, right? Like, you find both Living Ends, and then you Soul Guide Lantern. Why not wait for that? I don't think that's as valuable, and then holding Surgical for Rhinos, I think it's actually more valuable to have the Soul Guide Lantern be an extra card. Considering we're cards down, and they don't have force. Well, I mean, we found that with the surgical. So I don't know. I think the Soul Guide Lantern is better as a card than stopping their combo. But that's my take. Yeah, that's my take. I could be wrong, but that's the line that I committed to. Yeah, definitely could have just archive trapped, double trapped. Both living ends are in the yard. I don't have to worry about Soul Guide Lantern. Could have redrawn anyway. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm convincing myself into it. Should have just archive trapped, seen if I gotten all the living ends, then surgicaled. Because they're only playing 2. So it's not like I'm getting like 2 to 3 more cards out of their deck. But hey. Now my... They played Steam Vents. Now my Soul Guide Lantern redraws. I don't know. I just feel like the card quality in Mill is... It's bad. So I think just having more cards is valuable. To increase the chance of finding something of high quality. All right, opponent, come on. Come on. Let's speed it up. Let's speed it up here. Let's sped it up. Oh, my opponent's like, wow, nice draw. When was that? That was like earlier this turn, actually. Yeah, my opponent is not a fan right now. They are not a fan of what I'm doing. So I'm going to play the other Hedron Crab. That's great. Play this. Mill. Didn't get a single Crashing Footfalls there, so... Wow, those Crashing Footfalls are hidden. They're hidden right now, unless they drew one. In which case, why didn't they just like put it up? But okay, so I'll redraw next turn here. They don't want to cycle the Curator because now that they like, if I have an ability to stop their stuff, stomping, they'll go there with the Shardless, and that way they can save the Violent Outburst for an attack. Yep. Put it on the stack. Put the Rhinos on the stack. Yep. Shardless Agent. 6 cards. Shardless. So they want, yeah, Oliphant. Yeah, okay. Okay, now cycle. It's so good. Yo, it's so good. Ah, they gotta be mad. They gotta be mad about this one. They gotta be mad about this one. They have to be mad about this one. Oh, the top deck into the Spell Pierce. They have to be mad about this one. Where's chat? Show chat. Yo. Yo, let's go. The salt. Oh, they're not happy about that one. They not happy about this one. Look. If you're gonna force the combo decks, the guinea pig going crazy in the corner here. If you're gonna force the combo decks, be ready to tangle. Get ready to tangle. Let's go. I gotta sniff this one. I gotta sniff this one. I gotta get the stack involved too. But all right, GG's.